Alright, so I got the water pump back on and all the other stuff on, and then I'm starting to do steering stuff. Talked to a couple of people, a couple of my friends. Autorestomod was helping me out. It's a big shout out to him. I'll put his tag up, go follow him. I was looking at the RAM on this car, and that's where the steering play is. So I'll put the clip up from when me and Sean were looking at it. There's a bunch of steering play in this car right off the pitman arm. We thought it was the box, kind of hoped it was the box, but it's not the box. So right down in here, basically the issue I was having is you can see that this thing's leaking pretty bad. So this is the RAM control valve, power control valve, whatever you want to call it. It's basically what regulates the pressure to go into this hydraulic ram right here, and that makes your car turn. I believe they got rid of this in the cars in 65, but I've never liked this style steering, but it's what I got to work with, and so far it sucks. We need to rebuild this piece, and to take this piece off, you can see it threads onto the drag link, which goes all the way across to the other side of the wheel, and so I have to drop all the steering to get it out. That kind of leads us into a steering rebuild, which kind of gives me some flashbacks to the red Galaxie, which I just did. So I'm gonna go ahead and time lapse all this stuff, get the steering off the car, lay it out, show you what we got going on. There it is. Okay, so this guy right here. Look, oh my goodness. So your boy had a little bit of steering play, huh?
Just a little.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you can see the side to side. Like left and right, see that? And that's that's literally just me. I mean, how did I drive it like this? Yeah, but you can see this is a Bendex power control valve, power ram. These are very easily, commonly rebuilt. There's a bunch of places that rebuild them, so now it's up to me if I want to try to get a reman one or if I want to rebuild this one. The other thing I noticed is this line's a little loose. This one's really loose. I think this is where the big leak was coming from, which is weird because I tightened them all.
Yep.
This line right here, this is what I was talking to Marty about, split. So that one probably leaks a little bit. That's the one that goes to here, which I think, fun fact, for these high pressure hydraulic hoses, I don't know if all Napas do this, but mine does, locally here. So if you have a Napa around you, they probably make hydraulic hoses or high compression hoses for like power steering. Like they couldn't do this one because it had too many weird fittings, but just simple ones, but just a normal hose and 2 high compression fittings on each end that they normally can make. So if you need high compression power steering hoses, try a local Napa before you like spend a bunch of money on them, because they might be able to do it. So I'm gonna see if I can get that done. This looks pretty blown out. I showed you guys this earlier. Whoa, nice.
Do it.
I mean, well, it's not a closed system obviously because it's open, but really, I mean, this is a shock. It should move a little easier. It's not too blown out, but I mean, this is not okay. So probably gonna spend a pretty good amount of time cleaning this. It's like a 90 or something degrees out, so I'm gonna take a break on this for a little while, put this thing in the garage on the bench, blow it all apart. And I think it's pretty smart of me to go ahead and replace some of this stuff. These aren't actually bad, they're just not really very greased. I mean, I take that back.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Okay, yeah, we'll probably replace these too. These are usually pretty good. These I think I can replace. I don't know. I'll kind of figure it out what I want to replace. I'll probably order a bunch of stuff. These are pretty junked, but not as much of a rebuild that we did on the red car. We're gonna do a mild one on this, just enough to where it's safe. So I've already got high pressure hoses. Those are all new. They're actually in the car right now. Like these you can get from CNG Ford. They sell the brand new Reman hoses. So this is the one that goes on the Ram right here. You can see the high compression fitting right here. This is the replicate of this hose right here, which we'll replace. So if you want the pre-bent hoses that bolt right in there, CNG Ford sells them. They're in San Marcos, California. Really cool group of guys. So yeah, but anyways, we're gonna clean this thing up, get back on the bench, wait for it to cool off a little bit, and we'll start rebuilding this thing. All right, so all of our steering's out of this car like we said earlier. So the next thing I'm gonna be working on is actually getting the suspension fixed. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the wheels and tires off, get inside here and get these ball joints split. And hopefully, while I'm at it, possibly lower this thing. Ooh, maybe. So I got one of these handy dandy internal spring compressors. I was watching Autorestomod. Big shout out to Jeff over there showing me how to do this right without blowing my Galaxie up like we did last time with the red one. There it is.
Bingo.
That's how you take the spring out of a 64 Galaxie. So I gotta pop this shock out and stick the spring compressor inside of the spring and hopefully get it compressed enough to split the ball joint and have it not shoot out and kill me. So I'm gonna try that. Alright, so this shock bolt down here on the bottom doesn't want to come loose. I think it's because it hasn't been taken off in X amount of years. So I'm going to use the Pro Straw here. I don't want to spray a lot of it, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that little gauge just down a hair. Go ahead and aim it on the nut right off the shaft there. It's not spraying too much. There we go, got it. It's going to take a while. Yeah. This is where I die. Trust me, I'm a semi-professional. Well, this is just for gits and shiggles, but definitely won't be this low. It would be nice though, but I have to bag it because I don't know if you guys probably won't be able to see. Basically, the steering arm comes out right here, and if you notice, there's a frame there. So it'd be like physically impossible to go this low on this car without either notching the frame for the steering to clear or making custom steering arms. But if you bag it, this would be like something if you were gonna bag it. I'm not bagging it, so that's not gonna be a realistic ride height, unfortunately for us. Man, does it look cool just to kind of see it. But we are gonna lower this thing a little bit. I'm thinking 3 to 4 inches, probably, yeah, right around 3 inch in the back and then 2 inch in the front. So our stock ride height, I think is just about, that's probably about stock right there. So it's stock. This doesn't look too bad. And then keep in mind my fenders are cut in the front, so they are a little bit higher. They're probably about an inch or two higher than normal. Because what I was noticing is a lot of lowered cars, their center of the hub is just below the bumper, just at the bottom of the bumper. So that's probably about where I wanted to be. So this is the spring that I just took out of the car. And this is the one that came out of the red Galaxie. This is a big block versus a small block spring. The load ratings are different. You can just tell little minor differences between them. It's kind of hard to tell just looking at them here, but got a little bit of a different load rating. I think the thickness of the spring is different. Be surprised if I put the small block springs in the car without cutting them and then it lowered the car as is, because it's got, 200 more pounds over the front end. But this has a squared end, so I can't cut this end. However, I will probably end up cutting either a half coil or a full coil off of this, and nothing really preventing me from being able to cut this side. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the other side off if I don't blow myself up. I did pretty good on this side, but I need to clamp it up higher. That was my problem. So I didn't grab enough spring, so it made it a little bit harder to get the actual spring out of it, because you got to keep in mind the spring goes all the way up to like the top of the bucket, so you got to grab it, you know, up here, otherwise it's not going to come down all the way. I'm gonna go ahead and get that side out, figure out what I want to do for ride height. But I think that yeah, that's probably about where I want to be, and with a normal set of fenders it'll look pretty good. Okay.
I remember that happening, but
The tool break, or did it slip off?
I think the bolt came all the way out.
Alright guys, so I got it all mostly back together, at least to where I can hang the wheel. So this is about where it'll sit. This is about a 2-inch drop. It's really hard to tell with the fender being cut like that. It drives me crazy. Like I said earlier, the fender is radiused all the way across. It should be about flat right here across. And it's not, so I got to keep that in mind when I'm trying to picture ride height stuff. What I did on my F100, a lot of you guys asked me how I lowered that, is I ended up cutting, on my F100, I believe it was a coil and a half, because it was a truck. The thing was raised, you know, dramatically, because it was I-beam. So I cut a coil and a half off of it, and I dropped it, I think, just about 4 inches in the front, and it looks really, really good. I mean, you can cut these coils because of the ends. So this is what's called a square end on the bottom. This end you cannot cut because it's designed to lay flat inside of the control arm. You cut that, then basically the coil spring will not sit in the control arm properly. This one, however, sits into a bucket. If it has a nice flush end on the one side, and you cut it, it'll still, you know, basically be the same thing. So we can cut these technically, and it should work fine. I've cut coils before, my F100. I've driven and beaten the crap out of it for the last 2 years, and I haven't had any issues with cut coils. Some people get really bent out of shape with cutting coils, but I'm not about to pay $400 for another set of coils for this car right now. Because I looked, and basically a new set of 2-inch drop coils for this car come out to $400 with shipping, so it's just a little bit much for me to spend right now, because I got a lot of stuff that I want to do right now, so it's just really tight on my budget. So we're at least going to try this, and if it doesn't work for whatever reason, I got a set of small block coils from the other car that we can put in, or I'll just suck it up and I'll buy the other coils from I think Eaton was the place that sold them. They were just a lot of money, but they're very good coils. So I'm gonna go ahead and I got the other side out last night. That's out right there, you can see. Actually didn't shoot it out like I did with the red Galaxie, so that's cool. So basically all I really got to do now is I have new tie rod ends, new tie rod adjustment sleeves right here. So we're gonna go ahead and install these things. These will install outside of the car because I have to because the steering is outside of the car right now, so I'll install those separately. Go ahead and put the ball joints to the control arm, cut about a coil. I haven't really decided what I want to cut yet. Cut the springs, get them back in the car, and get it all back together and put it on the ground. Alright guys, so I have the coils in my garage now, so basically the way I have them marked up, I might adjust this just a little bit, but these are basically on a 2-to-1 ratio. The coil spring sits basically in the center of the control arm as it goes up and down, the spindle being on the outside and the center of the control arm mounting being on the inside. The coil spring sits relatively in the center, meaning I'll basically have a 2-to-1 ratio going up and down. So if I want to take about 1 inch or 2, if I want to take about 2 inches out of the ride height of the car, I would want to take roughly about 1 inch out of the spring. It's roughly about where we sit. So you can see basically from contact point to contact point, 1 inch is just about one coil. So I'm going to do about a coil here. You can see the top of the spring actually kind of flares outward just a hair. So I'm going to cut it just a little bit far to make sure that it doesn't have a weird shape when I cut it. I'm just going to go straight this way, and it'll basically replicate what I have on the top. The mating surface will be the same. Everything will be the same. It'll just be 1 inch lower, or in my case 2 inches lower. So I'm going to do that on both these springs, cut them, and test fit them. going back now. You think that was low enough? We're gonna find out. Look, it's a perfect circle. I think I got that measurement any better. I mean, I could have, but all right, let's stall. Yeah, it's good. About level with the fender.
Pretty good.
That's probably more realistic. That's still pretty low though, because you got, like, again, you got to keep in mind the fender scope. Look at the bottom of the fender here. You know, it's only like 8 inches from the ground. Not too bad.
It'll be pretty low.
Yeah, and then the fender is going to come across basically right here, so you won't see anything from basically that up. With the new fenders, but I don't know. I was like mocking up a wheel and playing with it, so now I gotta swap out the ball joints and get this coil spring compressed and back in the car.
It's gonna be fun.
Yep, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Okay, we're done. But I want to see what other kind of dealios I got.
Hopefully this does something.
Hopefully it doesn't do too much because I ain't taking these clothes like that.
Heck no.
It's not fun. Okay, stand over there. Truth. Truth comes out. It's definitely lower.
Yeah, it's definitely lower.
Oh, that's perfect. Boy, don't have shocks in it.
Oh my god.
Wow. Like, that's not too much. That looks good. It's about 2-inch drop before the... You guys won't be able to tell the top of the tire used to be right at the fender. Now it's a little bit up. It's about 1 inch up, 2 inch up. Yes, that looks good. Dude, that looks awesome. Heck yeah. My only concern was the steering. Oh no, we're good. Because you guys won't be able to see it, but basically the frame kind of right about here starts to arc up. And if the car is too low, your steering will hit the frame. If you hit a bump, it'll go up and hit the frame. I got plenty of room. I got at least 5 inches of clearance. That's cool. And not only that, keep in mind we're gonna have, you know, you can't really see it, but our line will be down here. It'll come right across down to here. So that's a pretty good drop. I just hope it's not too much, but I like the way that looks, huh?
Yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah, it looks better. Now the rear, you can see it's got a little bit of a rake to it. It's kind of like a cool little muscle car stance. I'm not a fan of rakes, so I'm gonna drop the back. I might, what do you think, a 2-inch block?
Maybe not even that much.
Maybe a 1 inch. I don't know, we'll play with the rear. I'll probably get a couple to where I can
The
change
rear's
it.
a lot easier.
Yeah, rear's super easy. The front sucked. I will say, if you guys are planning on doing this in your car, like, expect a lot of work and like know what you're doing and have someone that knows what you're doing, because you can seriously hurt yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, not only with the spring compressor, you have to use the internal compressor, otherwise it can literally shoot off and kill you. I've heard stories of someone getting the control arm dropping and breaking someone's jaw, so you got to be really careful. I'm not the greatest OSHA example on the planet, but still just keep it in mind. But yeah, it works pretty good. That spring compressor, I just rented that thing from O'Reilly's. It was like 50-something bucks to rent it, and then I can just return it and get my money back. But that is nothing but a coil off the stock spring on a big block spring. Small block springs are exactly the same, so this will work on any 63, 64, which should work, I believe, from any 62 to 64. I believe the suspension geometry is similar. But if you see my suspension and it looks like your car, it'll still work. But yeah, I'm really happy with the way that came out. So I guess we'll do another little walk around. We'll kind of close the video out. because this is July 27th. Your guys' video is coming out tomorrow, the 28th. So this is me busting my butt at 10 o'clock at night trying to get a video done for you guys. So we're bringing the Galaxie back, but I'm definitely stoked with the way that came out. I mean, look at that. I'm 6'2", and now I can sit on my own car. I mean,
If it moves like a boat.
we got to put shocks back in. There's no shocks in it. I just wanted to put it on the ground and just see what it looked like. So these will probably settle a little bit. Again, like I said, I hope it's not too low, but just bear with me. The stance that I'm trying to go for on this car is like, it's gonna look good, I promise.
Just a solid cruiser.
Dude, yeah, we don't care how this car handles. It's gonna look cool, I promise. We already rendered this car on Photoshop with cool wheels, cool paint.
It's gonna look cool.
It's gonna look mint. So, alright guys, well thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys got something cool out of this. You learned something for your car. Hopefully you can take on and, you know, try to modify your car and not spend a lot of money. But anyways, like the video if you did enjoy. I hope you guys are stoked to see the Galaxie back on the channel. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'm gonna go inside and edit it all night and get this video out for you guys tomorrow. So I'll see you guys in the next video with this car. Bye guys.